ready. It's time for Bucs Live.
Wait a minute. Bucs Live.
Bucs Live.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers talk with Rick Hughes and David Whitecarver.
This is
Bucs Live.
Let's go.
Well, guys.
Good morning, guys. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring for good.
All right.
What a shock!
Yeah,
I can't believe that
completely
happened.
Caught off guard, aren't you, Dave? You're just
Gronk
off
too.
guard.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe they retired.
So, guys, Dave's been calling this all along. Dave called Gronk right. Dave called Brady right. Give him the props he deserves. He got it correct from Jump Street. Dave, good job, buddy.
Look, it's very simple. You listen to what people say, not what you want to hear from them, and you listen to what they don't say. I saw this comment. Gronk's not coming back. When they started during the season, that was just to get his brand going. So 1 year ago today is when he retired the first time, and now I guess everybody's considering it for good. So I would agree. And as you aptly pointed out, recently he lost 15 pounds. He wasn't the same Tom Brady. He's taken 11 days off of training camp. He's taken days off during the week. You just don't go through what he's gone through and get that edge back in an off season or flip a switch and combine it with his age. And it's like, we're done here.
Okay. So you think this is permanent, right?
Oh yeah. He's not coming back.
Set your
He needs the money, man. I mean, did you see what happened to his FTX account? He needs that pay boost that he's going to get from Fox.
Well, the bottom line to all of this, though, guys, the bottom line to all of it.
Oh no, we suck again.
All right. So what I want to talk about with you guys is a couple of things. Brady's gone. Let's just, let's accept. All right. James Canada, by the way, James, big game, James. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for for joining us here. I see you in the comments. Appreciate you here. Former Buccaneer James Canada in the house.
A true Buccaneer.
That's correct. We are Buccaneer fans. He is a Buccaneer. You live the dream.
Something we can only hope to someday. Well, that won't happen.
He lived the dream.
We can only appreciate it.
That's right. So here's the deal. I have one question for all of you today. James, I would love for you to answer this. And James, actually, I'm going to put the link here in the chat. If you're interested in coming on, I'm going to go ahead and put the link down here for you. What I would like to find out from all of you is very simple. What next? That's really the question. Now we can wax eloquent, and this is the day to do it. Okay, you want to talk about 3 amazing years? Thank you, Tom Brady, about you brought the 3 best years in this franchise's history. Having said that, what next? What do you do? Now let me ask you. It's a fair question to ask. Do you tear it all down and rebuild? Do you try to rebuild on the fly? I think this team's in a position where you can kind of rebuild on the fly or rebuild as you're going. The bottom line numbers. By the way, before everybody gets confused and before we get all wacky and crazy, let me give you straight up. This is the financial reality. This is really not the worst financial reality that the Bucs could have faced. Okay. If he signed somewhere else, he would have counted $35 million against the cap this year.
That would have been a boo.
That would have been bad. Okay. Having said that, if he retired, and he has, he counts $11 million against the cap this year and $24 million against the cap in 2024. $11 million. That ain't bad, folks. That's okay. That they kicked the can down the road in a good way. Now, I would say No, James, I was meaning what's next for the Buccaneers. I know what's
Right.
next, for him. Yes, James, you are correct. Whatever he wants to do, whatever the heck he wants to do. And anybody who complains about it, forget you. Look, the Buccaneers have to decide right now. Do they go for I don't think they're going to be able to afford a big name quarterback. Now there are maybe some gymnastics they can do. Look, if they trade away some players, maybe let's for fun. Guys, don't take this too seriously. I'm not saying this is happening. Okay. I'm spitballing here.
I'm writing it down.
Right. It's not all going to be gold. So here's the deal. Let's say the Buccaneers were to trade some players, maybe that you've grown to know and love. All right. They trade them maybe to the Raiders. And a pick or two, and you basically you shed some salary, and maybe you get a Derek Carr. I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm not saying put bank on it. I'm saying
here's what you have to do. You have to do a sales job to Derek Carr because he has a no trade clause in his contract, so he can veto any trade. He has veto power, so you have to convince him it's worthwhile to come here.
Correct, but there are ways. Look, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin make a phone call. There are ways you can convince him after what he's been through. There are ways I'm sure you can maybe make that sellable considering where he is, what he's been through, what he's experienced. We're gonna look good, okay? And maybe we can. Maybe we are willing to trade a little more than some teams because we do need to shed some salaries. All right. So I'm saying basically there are ways to shed salaries. There are ways to do some things that can maybe bring in a quarterback. Having said that, I don't know that Derek Carr is the answer. It's possible. If he came, let me say this. If Derek Carr became a Buccaneer, I love Derek Carr. Okay. Now, having said that, I didn't like Tom Brady before Brady came to Tampa. And then I love Tom Brady. So, that's just straight up. That's how that works. Okay. I think it's far more likely that you're going to see a mid-tier type quarterback, a Baker Mayfield type quarterback.
Boo.
I understand that. But, there's a certain amount of price that you pay for rebuilding. Now, the beautiful part of all of this, guys, and I want to get into this. The beautiful part of all of this is that the NFC South sucks bad. And I don't think it's going to be monumentally better next year.
The Saints have got some draft picks coming.
Yeah. Well, no, but they had gotten rid of them. They literally just replaced their draft picks. So yeah, I'm not so sure that's, I'm not worried about that right now. Okay. The Saints, I'm not really worried about. To me, they're number 3 in the whole thing. Let me see here. Do we have big game James or no? No, we do not. I thought we did. You can rebuild. You don't have to do it from scratch right now. You don't have to because the other teams are so bad. It's actually the perfect time. Really, it is. Maybe 1 year earlier, but it is the perfect time to do this rebuild. Where you can bring in somebody who will get you through, and you can still win a division accidentally. After a Baker Mayfield, I'm gonna throw out another name, and some of you are gonna just run. You're gonna disconnect from me. You're gonna tell me you want nothing to do with me for saying this name, but I'm gonna bring him up anyway. Sam Darnold. That's the tier of quarterback we're looking at. Okay, I think to do a rebuild. Let me bring in. It's one thing to listen to me. It's another thing to listen to Dave. But I'd much rather listen to somebody who knows what the heck they're talking about. And that is, let's bring in Big Game James. How you doing?
What's up, guys? How's it going tonight?
Hey, thank you for joining the show.
Man, not a problem. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. First of all, before we get into this, tell everybody where they can find you and what you're doing these days.
Oh man, you can catch me on Big Game Sports Buzz or on Big Game Entertainment here on YouTube and on Facebook. Just doing a weekly Buccaneers Peter perspective is what I call it, and then on my Big Game Sports Buzz is just a sports variety show.
Very nice. Very nice.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, now, am I crazy in saying that now's kind of the time to do sort of a rebuild when you can do it when the NFC South is so bad?
No, but I mean, Rick, you're pretty much really stating the obvious almost right now. Because if you look at what we're losing this year in free agency, the contracts, the money,
right?
The guy who got us the second Super Bowl and got us close his second year, and we thought that this year could be another one before all the distractions and injuries happen. I mean, that's pretty much where we're at right now. Leonard Fournette didn't come back really looking like himself this year. We had a shell of a Julio Jones for part of the year that, you got to clean. I don't want to say clean house. There's some pieces that might be able to be reworked, like you guys said, but for the most part, it's a start over, but not necessarily a total tear down, like you said.
Yeah, that's I guess what in most cases you kind of have to tear it all down. Right. But I don't feel like we have to because the rest of the division is so bad. We can go through some tough years and maybe stumble into another championship.
Well, then you have to decide, is that enough for you to be the king of a bad division? That doesn't give me warm fuzzies.
Yeah,
that's basically what you're saying. Let's be king of a bad division. I'm like, okay.
Well, Jason White, he's going to have to be very smart with these draft picks this year. I mean, because like you look at it with three guys that have been standouts in the secondary are all free agents this year.
Yeah.
Does any one of the three come back? You know what I'm saying? Between Dean, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and Logan Ryan. I mean, it's just like, woo. I mean, it's those big parts and big pieces on that. Are you going to pick up Akeem Hicks option? I mean, are you going to bring him back? I mean, for the injuries he had But Vita Vea needs help in the middle. Man, it's a laundry list of everything that needs to be done. And when you go to bat to get the free agency money to pay the contracts of some of the players you did, when bringing Brady in, then and getting Fournette in, you're going to suffer somewhere along the line. So fans have just got to get ready to brace themselves.
Yep.
And I know all the Brady bandwagoners, that came down with him from New England are going to be gone, and the true Buccaneer fans will be they'll be left standing, rooting on the team, and just waiting for the front office to get things figured out.
I gotta say, I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed the Brady ride immensely.
Oh yeah.
Dave and I, James, for what it's worth, Dave and I've been fans of the team literally since 1976.
Okay, right.
Year one, we grew up in Orlando, went to Shenandoah Elementary with our Buccaneers jerseys.
Only two kids. Only two that had Bucs shirts on when Spurrier was the quarterback and they went 0-14.
Wow.
Verbal abuse from all the Dolphins fans because they had just come off their undefeated seasons and everything. And I mean, we go back that far. We're not going anywhere. But you're going to see a lot of empty seats. I heard this morning, and I don't know if they knew about this in advance, but even before Brady made the announcement, they were starting to take down those extra seats in the stadium.
Oh wow!
So, they're already going away. They needed to get a new stadium deal done while Brady was here.
Yeah, that would have been smart.
Yeah,
that would have been smart.
Well, James, when you think of the quarterback position next year, what do you think? What do you expect the team's options are? What do you think they're looking at?
Guys, don't laugh at me when I say this, but Kyle Trask was a second-round draft pick. I almost want to see what he can do. But aside from a few preseason snaps or series, to be taken in the second round, they had to see something. With him coming out of the University of Florida. People are going to throw things around. Do you try to get into, y'all said David Carr, do you try to bring in a veteran like that through a trade, or Sam Darnold, or do you even try to get into Lamar Jackson sweepstakes? I don't see that happening. But, between now, free agency starting, and the draft, there's going to be a million scenarios and rumors circulating around the internet, and I think it's going to make for great conversation. I would love to see a good veteran piece come in, but at the same time, I really need to start digging to see what's available and what's out there that, the cap is going to hurt everything for us. So it's not like we got a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah.
What about a Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance? Because there's not going to be the same quarterbacks in San Francisco. Somebody's going to go.
I would take Jimmy G. I think
So would I.
I think that he could come in. He can game manage. He doesn't have to do too much. He's still a suitable quarterback. Even as bad as people talked about him last year, he got him, 1-2 playoff games before getting beat.
He's played in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, did well this year. Got hurt when he had to, take over for Trey Lance, who they were trying to, and now Purdy comes out of nowhere, and they have a situation where someone's not going to be in that quarterback room. Tampa should, reach out and try to make something happen with someone from that organization. I wouldn't be mad. Trey Lance it's a wonder. You don't know what he can do either because he's been hurt. He hasn't really had a chance to show what he can do. But Jimmy G, I would take Jimmy G following Brady.
Yeah. Anybody who expects that you're going to get a super huge, great big name, whatever, I don't think it's going to happen. And, we kicked the can down the road. We had to put, everybody was okay when we said, we're all in, we're going to push this back. We're going to push it. Well, here you go. Here you go. This is the time when.
Or do you just roll with Blaine Gabbert and wait for more cap space and truly identify who you want to be a Buccaneer quarterback for a long period of time?
Mm.
And see if Kyle Trask does have anything.
James, how does this impact the offensive coordinator search? What happens? Does that have anything to do with what happened today and him announcing now?
No, now you just have to, whoever you decide to bring in, you're going to have to find a quarterback that can come in and fit that system.
Right.
So I don't think you pause your search for your offensive coordinator, but it's going to change things up in the front office, knowing that, all right, this is who we want to bring in. He has a philosophy we believe in. Now, can we get a guy to do it? So the front office has to have some ideas of who they're targeting, what they want to do while they're carrying on this search, because you can go get the right system, and if you don't have the right people in it, you would burn it down. And Bowles is on a slippery slope. I don't think that he doesn't have a lot of wiggle room. He doesn't have a lot of rope to play with. You know what I mean? Right. So he's got to get it right. And I think that they will try to do that going forward. I think you can slow your search down a little bit now because you don't really know who's going to be under center calling the plays for you.
Right. And you're I see in my brain, thank you for saying that, because now I can learn something from you, because in my brain, it was like, we better get the new guy in here so that we can figure out what the plan is, who we're going to bring in, who does he want? I was thinking the opposite. So you say slow it down.
Well, I think slow it down, because the worst thing you can do is be in a hurry and bring someone in and you realize like this doesn't really work. Right. And on top of it, what he's trying to do, there's no one out there available to fit this, unless they go searching draft pick. You know what I mean? So It's
you don't want to end up with Urban Meyer like the Jaguars.
There you go. In a nutshell, you don't want to just rush out there and grab it, because not taking anything away from Ronald Curry, but when Ronald Curry's name came up for interview today, that kind of surprised me. I was like, wow. I was like, it's going from a bunch of different people to now it was just, I think it felt like they were just interviewing people to interview people. It was like, do you have a solid candidate or no? So I think they were rushing. And also, think about it. Some of these coordinators, hey, cool, Brady may come back. I really want that Tampa job. Brady's not coming back. You know what? Yeah, it doesn't look as sexy as I thought. I don't want to. So it works both ways.
Yeah, that's what had me concerned. Is now what happens? Are some of these guys that we had interviewed, are they going to now withdraw from consideration, or what? What's about to happen? But really, would they come? Would it be that big of a deal to come work with him just for 1 year? And that was probably what was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, you're right. 1 year may not have made that much of a difference, but I think it's, if you come in and you have that 1 year where you can say you're the offensive coordinator and Brady has a great year, it elevates your resume. And and
You
everyone's
fixed
looking
Brady.
for a way.
Whoever has done that.
Yeah. Aside from his personal problems, that had nothing to do with his play. It was me. I fixed him. Yeah. So
Check.
right. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting off season. I mean, like I said, I'm just bracing for it. I said it on my show last night that I enjoyed these last 3 years. I really have, even with it being a bad year this year, roller coaster ride. You still had spurts and moments to where it was a lot better than it was prior to Brady getting here. So it was still, you could still enjoy it, even though it wasn't the outcome anyone wanted. And like I said, no one knew Jensen was going to get hurt the second day of training camp. You know what I mean? It just, and so many bad things happened. It just kind of just snowballed downhill, and we never got guys back at the same time to be healthy and on the field at the same time. It seemed like collectively to even get things going. And we were fortunate enough just to be in the worst division in football.
Yeah. James, how bad was Byron Leftwich?
Man, I have gone back and forth on this with so many people, so many different times, because it's the same guy that was calling plays supposedly when we won the Super Bowl, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and he got dumb awful fast, right?
Well, that's my question. But was it?
I mean, it makes you scratch your head though, because coming off the Super Bowl, Byron Leftwich is one of the hottest names out to be the next head coach.
Last year, Jacksonville apparently offered him the job, and then he didn't jump on it, and then they got Doug Peterson. I mean, he went from having a head coaching opportunity to apparently in training camp, there were problems between Bowles and him. What happened?
Well, I mean, I think Arians is probably the person that. All right, Arians may have been calling more plays than we thought.
That's what that's kind of what I think, because now you see Leftwich and you see what was going on there.
Right.
Well, I wanted to bring Arians up because what's his role in the organization now? I mean, you don't know how accurate it is, but you see all these firings that have gone on. He's unhappy about it. So what's his role? I mean, is he just a figurehead? He has an office, he pops around, he's good for laughs. I mean, what's his future with the Bucs? I mean, what involvement does he have?
David, that's the biggest head scratcher to me, because like I said, just the way everything went down last year was just really odd to me. And, I've had a lot of people say, well, Bowles needs to be fired. He shouldn't be the head coach. And I was like, I want to see him operate a year that's really his year at the helm. I was like, because here it is, Brady retires. Everybody's still in place. Brady unretires. All of a sudden, Bruce Arians is stepping away and going to take a consultant role in the front office. Todd Bowles is named head coach. Doesn't even have enough time to interview and hire a defensive coordinator, but everything's going to be fine because everything's in place from what we've done before. And clearly it was never right. Was Bruce gone because of Tom? Did Bruce not get along? I mean, there's something behind. Like I said, I would pay to be a fly on the wall in one Buc place to see and hear some of the things that went down behind those closed doors, because it all happened abruptly. It didn't make a lot of sense. It made you scratch your head. And he was around, but around for what? Into what capacity? How can you help us?
I'm trying to remember the official explanation. And I think Arians said, well, I wanted to step down while the Bucs were still good, so Bowles would be in a good situation. Oops. That really wasn't it. And that certainly didn't happen. So we've kicked the can around a bit, trying to what really went on there. And here's the timing of this, that, and the other. But it is a head scratcher.
Do you think we'll ever hear? Do you think it'll come out in the book when the book's written and the movie's out? Do you think we'll hear?
We'll hear, but when we do hear, it's not gonna matter anything. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's what it was. I mean, by the time it comes out, we probably be on a third head coach. No telling. My son might be quarterback. You know what I mean? No, I'm just who know. But all joking aside, we don't know. But I do want to know, just like you guys do. I really want to know what really went down. Why the BA step away? Now I do believe that he had total confidence in Todd Bowles, or he wouldn't have, gave it a stamp of approval. But at the same time, it was an easy move for the organization to make, to just promote within and try to keep everything going, thinking that we're not far off from what we were the last 2 seasons.
It was odd to me to see Arians in the golf cart out at practice and to see him on the sidelines or whatever. It felt a little weird to me. Like, I mean, I felt like, for lack of a better way to put it, for Todd Bowles' sake, we need to get the old guy out of here. I mean, if you've been around the Bucs, you know full well every 2 years fans are screaming for a new. I mean, it doesn't matter how good the team is. It doesn't matter. They're screaming for a new head coach. So, I mean, we've just won the division 2 years in a row. Granted, we backed into it. We fell into it. We tripped.
But we won it.
Right.
Saints didn't win it. Panthers didn't win. Falcons didn't win it. We won it.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. So we've won the division 2 years in a row, and it drives me nuts. The complainers, the fireballs. I mean, we won the freaking division. Were you not around 3 years ago? Do you not remember what it used to be like?
Yeah, I scratch my head when it comes to some fans and wanting the coaching change so fast. It's like, pump the brakes. Let's see what happens. You've been around football long enough to know that be careful what you ask for, because sometimes you get somebody in place and you're in the bottom of the cellar again trying to dig yourself out, and you're like, why did this happen? Well, y'all asked for it. You know what I'm saying? So be careful what you ask for.
Well, yeah, and everybody who said, when Belichick went to New England, right? If they took he sucked in Cleveland, they fired him. Well, like they're doing with Bowles. Well, he sucked with the Jets, they fired him. How would that have worked out for New England? I mean, you got to give the guy a shot. I mean, I think Bowles I don't think he's had a shot. I mean,
that's my question is, what's your gut
behind his back?
What's your gut feeling as to how good a coach Todd Bowles is? Now, I'm ignoring he's a complete contrast to Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is colorful and he's a great interview and he gives you your sound bites. Todd Bowles does not, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as an NFL football head coach, how good is he?
I don't think Todd Bowles has been in a great situation yet, because the New York situation was awful. In that media market, no one's good enough. I mean, the Jets hadn't been good in forever, and no one's – and they're ready to chop Robert Saleh's head off. You know what I mean? So it's just like, what can you do there? You come in a situation here where you just mentioned the golf cart being out there with BA on it.
Yeah.
He's looking over his shoulder the entire time.
Yeah.
That's why I think this needs to be a year where we can really judge Todd Bowles for what he does. And
absolutely,
I learned this from being under Coach Dungy. Every coach doesn't have to be an in-your-face yeller, cursor, swearer all the time. And I think because Todd Bowles' demeanor is so laid back, people assume he's not doing anything to get the team motivated. Not everyone responds to that. And not everyone responds to, the yelling up in your face. So, it's a different style for everyone. But, people thought Tony was too nice and he went to Indianapolis and got a Super Bowl win. So the styles of the coach works with the right personnel and the people to buy into that style.
And what coach did he beat in the Super Bowl?
Wasn't that Sean Payton?
No, did who beat?
Did Tony Dungy beat when he won the Super Bowl with the Colts?
They played. It was the Bears they played. Who was the coach then?
Hold on.
Lovie Smith.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. Wow.
So I had this conversation literally at work today. To back up what you were just saying, James, is like I'm in a sales position at work. We have two separate teams. Now I ain't young, right? I'm not young.
I think you are.
I don't need a rah kind of a guy. I need somebody who comes in and says, look, these are the bottom line, these are the goals, this is what we're trying to reach, this is what we're trying to do, and expect me to do it. And that's what I respond to. And there are other people that are sales that are in a sales position where I work they get pumped up and the cheering, the rah thing works for them. Some people you yell at them, that works. Some people that'll tear them down. I had the opportunity to meet Todd Bowles in a situation where I watched him and his family, and when that man spoke, his kids listened. He wasn't yelling at them.
Right.
But you knew who was in control.
Right. And he carried the weight. Same thing you see with Tony Dungy. And that's what I loved about Tony Dungy is he didn't have to yell at you.
Right. Right. Exactly. He did.
You would know that way better than Dave and I would.
And I think, Bowles making the changes on the offensive side of the ball, getting different coach. Because this is what I tell everybody. Coach Dungy didn't swear, he didn't curse, but he had the right guys on the staff that could light a fire under your behind and get after you, right?
Yep.
So
Good cop, bad cop.
yeah, exactly. He was able to be himself,
Yep.
and Rod Marinelli could be a pit bull. Lovey Smith, Herm could be pit bulls if they needed to be. Monty Kiffin could be that guy if he needed to be. You know what I'm saying? So the changes that need to be made, and some people said, well, those are changes like I got to save my job changes. Yes, changes are going to have to be made regardless. You couldn't just go, you don't fire the offensive coordinator and keep all the same offensive coaches in place. It didn't make sense. You got to, some of those other pieces are going to align more with what Byron was doing. And if it's not working, then those pieces aren't working anymore. And so you bring new in.
Yeah. One of the things that made me very happy is noticing, okay, Todd Bowles was willing, and Jason Light, the organization, by the way, were willing to make moves that would tick off Bruce Arians, meaning they were all, including Todd Bowles, were all willing to commit to making moves that they felt it was necessary to win and not just kind of placate the guy that used to be in the position.
Right.
And that to me was a big deal. It shows to me that they're behind Todd Bowles and they are willing to do what Bowles wants to do. And, that's encouraging, if nothing else. I mean, at least we have that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have the support of the people, your higher ups. And if they don't have you back, then you're doomed, right?
Right.
Just ask Lovey about that in Houston.
Yeah. Well,
that was a dumpster fire all the way around.
Yeah.
But so to know that you have them to have you back to support those moves, and coming out making a comment that they wanted to make a move after the Baltimore game, but just in real. And I'm always one, if you don't have someone in mind on your staff that can take over, a mid-season move is not always a good move because you're not going to go outside the organization to bring someone in. The season started, it's underway. You're not starting to train and teach a brand new system. You got to keep going with the one you have and maybe make some tweaks to it. An inside coach can do that. Someone from the outside, because someone's like, well, they should have brought in somebody from the outside. You're not bringing in an outsider during the middle of the season, dude.
Right.
Like, that doesn't happen. How much football have you watched? That doesn't happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and
Well,
I thought they were going to bring Clyde Christensen in. I thought if that happened, then maybe Clyde could step in and be that play caller until, changes made. And they didn't do it. So then it was kind of like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm encouraged by this. Listen, guys, it's time. For lack of a better way to put it, the circus is over. The circus is gone. Sweep up the parking lot. Okay. And it's time to be Bucs fans again, not Brady fans. We're going to be talking about the Buccaneers now. This is the most fun part of this for me, is now we're going to be talking about the Buccaneers.
right.
We're not just going to be talking about Brady. And that, to me, that's fun, and I'm all about it. I mean, I'm excited about that. I believe wholeheartedly. Listen, I'm a Bucs fan, and I will remain a Bucs fan. So, I mean, tomorrow when I wake up, I'm still the same Bucs fan I was yesterday when Tom Brady was the quarterback. That was a fun ride, though, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
The circus was very entertaining.
James,
Yeah,
we've kept you on here for a long time, brother. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you.
and again,
Deeply appreciate your insight.
Hey, not a problem at all. Thank you all so much for having me on, and thank you for letting me promote the show. And I just did a thank you piece for Tom Brady, and I'll tag y'all on Facebook with that too.
That would be awesome. That would be
Perfect.
awesome. And if you'll one more time tell everybody where to find you.
You can catch me on Big Game Sports Buzz on YouTube. We're usually live on Tuesday nights, 8:15, 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:15, 9:30 Eastern Time. Just like I said, sports variety, and I drop my pewter perspective once a week, and it's normally on a Friday or a Sunday. Just kind of giving my 2 little nuggets of what's going on with Buccaneers football.
Excellent. I will be making sure we promote that along the way. Thank you, James.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Y'all have
you,
a good
James.
night.
Appreciate it.
Right. Big game, James, Canada, stopping by. Now I feel stupid that it's just you and me, dude.
Yeah, it's like we got to follow that up. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
So what'd you have for dinner?
hey, that's an old show. That's the old show. So hold on, guys. We're gonna be back in give us 10 seconds. We will be right back. All right. I was about to say, let's take some phone calls. I didn't have to. We already got Todd from Winter Parks joining us. How you doing, brother? Hold on. Let me press this button. All right.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Really good conversation with James.
Yeah, absolutely.
David, how you doing, brother?
Happy New Year. I don't think I've talked to you in a while.
No, Happy New Year. It's
A little slow on the switch here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, I want to get some of you guys' opinions, and I've got some things that have been on my mind. And
I'm sure you have.
Yes, I became a Brady fan. It was a fun 3 years. As I told Rick earlier today, it's bittersweet for me.
I think it's bittersweet for all of us, Todd. I do. I think it's bittersweet for all of us. I'm
kind of sad today, but I'm happy that Brady still got his health. He wants to be with his kids. He wants to do what he wants to do. Hopefully he goes in the booth, and I think he's going to be fantastic in the booth. So good for him.
Well, I hope he's going to be great in the booth. I can't imagine he's going to suck. So,
how can he have any insight into NFL football?
Yeah. You think the guy knows what he's talking about? No, it's going to be fascinating and interesting to hear him week after week. Todd, let me ask you this. Now, I mean, you and I've had a lot of conversations about every rumor. And guys, if I told you some of the rumors that Todd and I have discussed, it would blow your mind. You wouldn't even believe some of the rumors. So my question is this now, Todd.
Okay.
Who do you want and think is reasonable for us to get at quarterback?
Well, I think there's a couple of options. We do have the draft coming up. There's 2 names that are rolling around in my head. The other 2 names I don't think we can get because I think they want too much money.
Well,
So
yeah.
the
Number
2
one,
names-
the one rolling around in your head, just stop it.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's not going to happen. We don't have the money for them anyway.
Right.
But the 2 names that I like, that I think could come in here and be pretty good for us, depending on, again, who our offensive coordinator we hire, would be Derek Carr and Jimmy G. Now Jimmy G's a free agent
And a lot cheaper.
Derek Carr, we'd have to give up some compensation to the Raiders.
And you got to convince him to
like
come here.
that. What's that, sir?
And you got to convince him to come here. He has a no trade clause, so he can veto any trade.
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
they're
Yeah,
going to
I
cut
heard
him.
you- I heard-
They're going to cut him. If they, I mean,
I didn't know. I
here's-
didn't know that, David, until you said that earlier in the show. So thank you for that.
yeah, but
Yeah,
he's
you got to do a sales job to get Derek Carr to come here.
not
Or whoever.
particularly because he's going to get cut. If I mean, they're not. He's not. He wasn't even with the team for the last 4 weeks of the season.
No, he's gone. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying he can veto where the trade package is. He can say no.
Yeah, I think with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and I don't think there's a terrible ton of convincing that's going to need to have to take place on that.
Now, the other option is we have the 19th pick in the draft. We could possibly trade with someone to move up in the draft and to try to draft one of those good quarterbacks in the draft. Now, I don't know what y'all's thoughts are on that, but, you know.
So rookie, you're saying take a shot on a rookie.
I'm saying take a shot on a rookie because Kyle Trask has not played it down. It's not really fair to him. I mean, if you want to throw him in the fire next year, let's go ahead and try it. But I don't think it's really fair to him either.
Well, like you know that Dave and I are both Gator fans. Dave is a big time Gator fan, and both
second generation alum.
Yes, and both of us say, yeah, Trask is not the answer.
Well, if you're going to get a Gator, go after Richardson. Go draft Richardson. I like his athletic ability.
He'd be fun. He'd be fun to watch. It might be a little bit like Jameis, but he'd be fun.
He would be a Mahomes project kind of thing where he didn't even play the first year.
Can I point something out, though? I want to point something out that a lot of people may not really be thinking about or processing. I want you guys to look at the 4 teams in the championship, in the AFC and NFC championship. All right. Name the 4 quarterbacks. Who? Philadelphia.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts.
Rookie contract. San Francisco.
I'm not even sure if they have one now.
30. Rookie contract or Trey Lance. Rookie contract. Right? Go to the AFC. Go to the AFC. Okay. Who did Kansas City play?
Joe Burrow.
Rookie contract. The only one. The only one. Yeah, but fixing to. But the only one of the 4 teams in the conference championship games whose quarterback was not on a rookie contract was Kansas City. And what you may not realize is he was still getting paid as though he was on his rookie contract. I think his salary cap hit was $10 million this year. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is paying a quarterback big money is not the answer anymore. It's really not
Denver Broncos.
The answer.
Denver Broncos.
Yeah, Dave. And I've already given Dave enough props, haven't I? I mean, come on, Dave. Holy cow. Yeah, he's bragging because Dave, of course, and I got to give you props again because you were right again. Dave said before the season when everybody was going, oh, man, every team in the AFC West is so good, man. Denver with Russell Wilson and the Raiders.
Last place. And Dave, Russell Wilson's going to be in last place.
And Dave called it, and Dave said the Raiders were going to suck. He got all of it right. Yeah. I hear you, Dave.
I got to enjoy it while I can.
Yeah, well, you absolutely nailed it. Let's give you the props. You deserve it. But
kudos to you, Dave.
Yeah, but having said that, he still called him Todd Light instead of Jason Light.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I'm very embarrassed by that. Thank you for bringing it up.
No, you deserve all the props. You absolutely deserve the props because you've been people should be listening to you. I may be on this side of the screen and I may talk more, but this is the guy that you really probably ought to be listening to.
Well, you don't want to bring in a quarterback that's going to handicap your team like Rodgers has done with the Packers, like Wilson has done with Denver, like Deshaun Watson has done with the Browns.
Well, that's why when I say to you guys, listen, let's say Sam Darnold for one. Now, everybody freaks out when you say the word Sam Darnold. Okay.
Oh
Everybody
my
freaks
God.
out.
I laugh. I chuckle.
Awful.
But he played with the
That is
Jets.
awful.
He played with the Jets and the Panthers. Okay. He played with the Jets and the Panthers. Okay. And not the Panthers during, not like the good Panthers. Okay. He had
Rule
no
Panthers.
shot. So here's the deal. I'm saying you bring in somebody like Sam Darnold really cheap. You can get him really, really cheap. All right. You bring him in and you could probably afford Sam Darnold and Jimmy G. All right. You could probably afford both of them. All right. So I guess what I'm trying to say, Jimmy G made how much this year, Todd? 6 million?
6 million.
6 million. Okay. So he made 6 million this year. Let double it. He makes 12. You realize their teams are out here paying 40 million a year for their quarterback. Okay. So Jimmy G's coming cheap. Okay. Sam Darnold's coming cheaper. All right. I mean, the thing is, if you get a Sam Darnold, and I get it, guys, I get it when you're screaming, oh my God, he sucks, he sucks, he sucks, he sucks. Or Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield sucked in with the Panthers, didn't he? But he looked all right with the Rams. And he looked really good the first year in Cleveland. I mean, and that was with, I believe Munkin was the offensive coordinator that year. So,
but he might have been.
yeah.
I don't want Casper. I just don't want Casper.
Look,
You know,
I know you're
ghosts.
talking Sam Darnold. He sees ghosts.
he's not even in my top 25 quarterbacks. He's not even in the top 25. Might not be in the top 30. I mean, he's horrible. I'd rather start Kyle Trask than bring in Sam Darnold. What do you think, Dave? Dave's not saying nothing.
That there's no good option there. That's what Dave's saying.
Well,
Yeah, Dave. I don't know if Dave muted himself or if he's literally pretending.
You have to look at this. I'm willing to go with Blaine Gabbert for a year and figure out what you really want to do long term. Kyle Trask is not the answer.
I will go with Blaine Gabbert over Sam Darnold any day of the week.
You know what Jason Light's saying right now?
Not that Blaine Gabbert's a prize, but I'll go with Gabbert over Darnold.
Somebody's going to ask Jason Light, what are you going to do? And you know what he's going to say?
If he says Sam Darnold, I'll fall right off my seat.
Listen, Todd, this is what he's going to say.
If I knew what I was going to fucking do, I'd have already done it.
That's exactly what he's going to say. That's your answer. Okay. I mean, look, I mean,
it's going to be, it's like we've all said it. It's going to be a very interesting off season for us.
Let me tell you, I am so excited about this off season. And Todd, you know, behind the scenes, I have been saying all year that Brady is a pocket passer who won't step up in the pocket. Okay. I've been saying all year the offensive line is not as bad as maybe if you look at the PFF grading, the offensive line was not as bad as everybody's pretending because we all want to make excuses for Brady, personal life problems. Have you ever heard any quarterback, any player at any position? Have you ever heard anybody say, well, it's okay, he had a bad year. You know, his wife left him. I've never heard that for anybody. Anybody. Why is that okay for Brady? I mean,
I think it hurt him mentally. I don't think he was sharp mentally. He took time off. He took 10 or 11 days off from training camp, and then he was taking off Wednesdays. So that tells you right there. And Brady's a competitor. He
was 15 pounds lighter than he was at the end of last season. He lost 15 pounds.
It hurt him mentally and physically. And and he's the ultimate competitor.
I
but
need a
I don't think
I need
he
a
was- I don't think-
crybaby sound. I need a crybaby sound effect.
I don't think he was all in this year because of everything going on.
Then get
You
him the
Ryan
heck off
Jensen-
the team. Then put him on the bench. If he's not
Ryan
all
Jensen
in,
got
if
hurt.
he's not all in, put him on the effing bench.
Well, do you think he was all in, taking all that time off?
No, I don't think he was all in. You've heard me saying this all year. You've heard this from me, Todd. I don't think he was all in this year. We had a quarterback who was not all in.
Who would have ever
I
thought
don't
that?
think it's, I don't think it's all Brady's fault.
It is all Brady's fault that he's not in, that he wasn't all in. Name and oh my God, how would you have felt if Jameis Winston said, "Yeah, I'm not all in this year because my girlfriend broke up with me, or my my baby mama just like come on, stop it." You guys are killing me with the he lost 15 pounds because his wife left him. Good God. Have you ever said that about anybody else? Ever?
I'm not. Look, I feel this is a personal attack on me because you just included everybody. But all I'm saying is, yeah, it was pretty obvious, and it was a bad scene, and I knew that's part of why he was going to retire. I saw the meme today that somebody got out of the annals and said it had Tom Brady saying, "I'll retire when I suck." Well, there you go.
No, he said, I'm going to try to retire. He said, I want to retire before I suck. Didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been quarterbacks who stayed more than 1 year too long.
There is no question. There is no question that he had a bad year. No question at all.
But why did he have a bad year? And I don't want to hear because his wife left him. He had a bad year because he wasn't all in. He had a bad year because he wouldn't step up in the pocket. He had a bad year because he played scared. He had a bad year because he was throwing the ball in the dirt or over the receivers' heads. He had a bad year because he wouldn't let the routes develop. And you know what? He may have taken some people down with him like Byron Leftwich. I don't know. But the bottom line is this. Stop with the excuses. Look, everybody called me like, oh, I'm all a Tom Brady guy. I'm this. Yeah, absolutely. But going into this year, I said before the year started, something ain't right with this guy. Something's not right. He doesn't even look the same physically. Something's different. I brought up the weight thing before the year ever started.
That you did.
Yeah, he was not there this year, and he was our quarterback. I'm sick of the excuses and saying, listen, thank God we had Tom Brady.
And on the flip side,
bye.
And on the flip side,
Can you hear me? When you muted Todd, when you muted you.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry,
I was about to start singing or something.
Sorry. Say that again, Todd. I'm sorry.
You don't want me to do that.
I said on the flip side of that, you're right, Rick. But on the flip side of that, he finished third in passing yards this year behind Mahomes and Herbert
because he threw more time.
We've lost audio. Hello? Can you hear me? You're on mute. I'm not hearing anything.
I'm not on mute. You can't hear me?
No, for a while we couldn't hear you.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not on mute, so I don't know.
I can hear you now, and that's a good thing.
I don't know what happened.
Technical difficulties.
The universe saying, I don't want to hear any more excuses about Tom Brady. That's what it was. Listen, Todd, thank you. I've told Dave I'd get him out of here in an hour, so we're going to have to go ahead and call this a day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Rick.
Great to hear from you, Todd.
Yes.
All right. That was awesome. Wow.
As a stat guy, don't you think we should go through some of Tom Brady career statistics?
Sure, Dave, do it.
Okay, this will take a little bit because there's a lot of them. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. has the most passing yards in NFL history, 102,614. In second, Drew Brees, 85,724. Most passing touchdowns in NFL history, Tom Brady, 736. Second, Drew Brees, only 571. Most wins as a starting quarterback, NFL history, Tom Brady, 219. Peyton Manning, second, 186.
You guys ready for this? I got to throw this in, Dave, right there. Tom Brady has 35 playoff wins. 35 playoff wins. There are 17 games in a season. Go ahead, Dave.
Most Super Bowl starts by a quarterback, Tom Brady, 10. Second place, half that, John Elway, 5. Most pass completions in Super Bowl history, Tom Brady, 277. Peyton Manning, 103 in second. Most passing yards in Super Bowl history, Tom Brady, 3,039. Second, Kurt Warner, a third of that at 1,156.
Wait, repeat that one.
Most passing yards in Super Bowl history, Tom Brady, 3,039. Second place, Kurt Warner, 1,156.
Everybody wrap your mind around what the statistic he just said. In Super Bowls, Brady threw for how many yards?
3,039.
That's a season for most players. And we're just talking in the Super Bowl. Go ahead, Dave.
Most passing touchdowns in Super Bowl, Tom Brady, 21. Second, Joe Montana, 11. Most Super Bowl wins, Tom Brady, 7. Second, Joe Montana and Terry Bradshaw with 4. Most NFL championships, Tom Brady, 7. And now we're getting historical. Herb Adderley, I'm not sure who that is, I'll be honest, 6. And Forrest Gregg and the infamous Fuzzy Thurston, who played for the Colts and Packers, was 6.
How many Super Bowl wins does Brady have, Dave?
7. He's his own franchise.
How many Super Bowls do the New England Patriots have?
6.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I believe that's 6. He's got more than he's the leading franchise by himself.
just wrap your mind around that.
Most passing yards. I mean, here's all the records. Most passing yards, most passing touchdowns, most passing attempts, most completions, most wins as a starting quarterback, most 3,000-yard passing seasons, 20, most 20 passing touchdown seasons, 20, most quarterback starts, most games by a quarterback, oldest quarterback to start and win a game at 45, oldest player to play in and win a Super Bowl, 43, most Super Bowl appearances, most playoff wins, most playoff games, most playoff passing yards, most completions in the playoff. It goes on and on. And threw a touchdown pass to 96 different players. Threw a touchdown pass to 35 different players in the postseason.
Who caught Brady's last touchdown pass? Cam Brate.
Wow. That's he just got famous. I didn't realize that.
Interesting little bit of trivia.
Yeah, you kind of have to backtrack because you were like, oh yeah, that just happened.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it at the time.
Actually, and if you remember, actually, Dave, go back because during that game, I was texting you to listen. You may be watching the GOAT's final touchdown. I hope he gets, because we almost got shut out. And I was texting. I hope he gets one more touchdown. Let the GOAT have one more touchdown.
Go out with a touchdown. So. Yeah. And I also, if I remember right, when we were texting, I said, this is reminding me of when Dan Marino's last playoff game, when it was like 62-7 against the Jaguars. They just pummeled him. Yeah. And that was the end of Marino. And I believe Jimmy Johnson as well.
Yeah, that was Dave, you did say
People
that.
forget Jimmy Johnson was a quarterback was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins when Dan Marino was a quarterback.
Yep.
So,
yep. Oh man. Well, guys, that's it's been fun. It has been a great 3 years.
Oh no! We suck again!
Let's hope that's not true. Let's hope that's not true. But if it is, Dave and I are going to be here rooting just as hard as we have all along. And hope you guys will be here with us. Dave, thank you for hopping back in. I know you're in the middle of a brutal time right now at work, and the fact that you made time, thank you for being here.
Let me leave you with a Tom Brady statistic that you can impress your friends with. He's the only NFL player to win a title in 3 different decades. Mic drop.
Nice. Very nice. And he's had 3 separate Hall of Fame careers. Guys, thank you all for being here. It's been a blast. Wow. The comments, guys. Fat Boy, thank you for your comments. Hey, Fat Boy. Thank you for all of your comments. Corey Brown, thank you. Dritz924, thank you. Fred Moore, as always, thank you. Want to really say thank you to Bucs Report for letting us share their platform. I want to say, guys, future is going to be interesting. It really is. Around here on this show, it's going to be interesting. The talk's going to be interesting. The complaining will be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a new little sponsor hopping on board. Dave hasn't heard about this yet. So let me tell you something. There has been one thing that I have worn, I believe, pretty much during every show that I've ever done. It's not this, obviously. It's not that I don't wear the same pants all the time, but there is something I'm always wearing when I'm doing a show. Don't get nervous. I am always wearing these hilarious slippers. Okay.
Let the record state I am not.
Okay. However, Dave, you have a free pair coming.
Excellent. I'll be wearing them. I can't wait.
Flip and love these things. And I want to say we will be joined by Happy Feet Slippers. And I'm pretty excited about that. And we're going to have a giveaway for you guys. So that's kind of fun. Anyway, guys, so stick around with us over the off season. There's going to be fun stuff coming. And we're going to have a good time. And Dave, get ready for a pretty crazy off season.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. We will be back Tuesday night at 9. I will be here. Dave will be here if he can be. And we will see what we can do. But, there's been so much said about will Brady come back? Will he not come back? There's been so much said about Byron Leftwich. There's been so much said about so many different things. Everybody's talking about this. Everybody's talking about that. But Dave and I will always say one thing, and it's how we like to end the cast because we believe it.
We live it.
Go Bucs. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.